It's done fantastic this season. I think they are the best performing team, or have been the best performing team this season. They are top of the league, quite comfortable. They are favourite to the title.
Brentford was my first Premier League game, I think, and then I already thought like, oof, if this is going to be the resistance we get every week, then it's going to be then this is a more difficult league than the Eredivisie, which I knew before I came, but it was proven that day as well.
And they go into this game in a strong position, of course, unbeaten in 16. They've been top of the table for over 2 months. I just wonder, though, 4 draws in the last 6 games? Has their grip of top spot weakened of late?
I mean, it seems that way. I mean, Nottingham Forest midweek, Mo Salah probably had one of his worst games of the season, and when that happened...
He was very quiet.
He was, and that's OK, it happens. You know, as a class player like he is, he's going to have moments. I think Nottingham Forest right now, people are talking about them potentially doing a Leicester. I don't quite see that yet, but they're in incredible form, and I know you won't like that, Manish. Chris Wood, and
I don't know what you mean. Yeah.
I mean, they scored after Tsimikas gets the assist, you know, Diego Jota gets the goal 28 seconds. I don't think we've ever seen, like...
22 seconds.
22 seconds. Like, I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. And I think with Liverpool, I personally think they will win the league. But what I will say is that they still don't look like they're running away with it. Do you know what I mean? There's still some type of fragilities in that team.
What do you think, Darren?
I think it speaks to the strength of the Premier League, that even though they did have that lead for so long, they look as though they're faltering. But also you'd expect it as well, because of the strength of the Premier League. And sometimes we do this a lot as fans. A team is streaking clear in December, we kind of declare the race over.
It has been, though, Darren, hasn't it, with Man City? Well, like, it's more or less been done the last 3 seasons.
Where they normally come alive in December and then start to streak away over the subsequent months, whereas as far as Liverpool are concerned, they were so far clear, and they had the opportunity to go, I think it was 11 points clear, but they faltered against Manchester United. What I do think, very uncharacteristically for Liverpool, is that perhaps they started to believe in that publicity a bit, because everybody expected them to slaughter Manchester United, and they didn't at home, and they surrendered 2 points. And then, of course, in the League Cup, away to Tottenham, who were so poor against Arsenal, they fell behind. And this is not the normal Liverpool. So even though they're in a good place, I think their grip is weakening at the moment, and it will take a really strong performance at a really difficult place to go. Only Liverpool and Arsenal have got similar records to Brentford at home.
Yeah.
I think they won 7 of the last of their 9 games at home so far this season. Liverpool do have a terrific away record.
Yeah,
but
they're unbeaten away, yeah.
Exactly, but they're up against Wissa. They're up against Mbeumo.
Yeah.
And those two have both scored goals for fun. They're the only 2 players in the league that have scored, you know, as a pairing, as many goals that they have done.
And no one's even talking about the fact they lost Ivan Toney, because those 2 are doing well for Brentford.
Yeah. Actually, talking of which, Wissa has now become Brentford's top Premier League goalscorer, overtaking Ivan Toney. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves.
Well, the talk is that Arsenal have an interest in him. It'll be interesting to see if they pursue that, given that they do need a striker by the end of this window. But as far as he's concerned, I almost think back to when Thierry Henry left Arsenal and Nicolas Anelka really did come alive. And I wonder if Tony leaving Brentford has allowed both those players, actually, Mbeumo and Wissa, to get their confidence. You've been a striker, you know far better than I do.
I was always the main one, though. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. No, but I know what you're saying. Like, sometimes, look at Tottenham when Harry Kane left. Initially, you know, it looked like Harry Kane's probably thinking, I should have stayed there, because they were playing free-flowing football. I think, from my experience, when a top player leaves, everybody else gives that extra 10, 15%, because they can't rely upon that player.
It's a collective thing.
Whereas you'd think they just capitulate and think they've lost this massive player. But what's the link, Wissa going to Arsenal? Like, how much are we talking? You're the person in the know, Dan.
What, in terms of how much it costs?
Yeah.
Oh, it costs easily in excess of 60, 70 million pounds.
Interesting.
I mean, he's been a terrific player for them. He's key to what they're trying to do. They'd be trying to take him mid-season. They'd be justified in asking for that much money.
Are you talking about January?
Talking about January, yeah. The interest is there. But I think as far as Wissa is concerned, he's playing with so much more confidence now. He's doing that because he's playing with Brentford team that know him, know his game. It would be very different if he were to go elsewhere. He'd be stepping up a level, there'd be more pressure on him, and suddenly you're looking at a very different player. You know, can you respond to that? But as far as Brentford are concerned, what he has done for them is show that he does have that ability, and I think they're going to be very, very difficult for Liverpool.
Credit to Thomas Frank as well, because I think he's a manager that I think whatever team you support, you always enjoy watching him, you know, his press conferences when he's talking, and I think what he's done with that team is unbelievable. Because you look at the players they've got, like...
Look at the players they haven't got.
Yes.
I mean, they've got 6 or 7 injured. By the way, you know, Hickey, Pinnock, they've been... You know, a lot of their defence, Ayer as well.
Losing Raya as well.
Yeah, but even then, he still manages to grind out results. The one against City, the comeback was terrific.
Well, that was the reason why I thought that was significant that you played that right at the start, because you picked that, didn't you? And that showed real character. That showed that they are there. You know, sometimes you can have a great record, and as soon as you play one of the superpowers, suddenly it falls apart. But suddenly they were 2 goals down. They could easily have thrown in the towel, but they fight their way back to 2-2. Terrific result for them, and a warning to Liverpool as well.
Yeah, talking of Liverpool, Mo Salah and the report situation, you've already spoken briefly about that. Will the City Haaland news, you know, almost prompt them into announcing 1 or 2 things? What is the latest on that, Darren? What do you know?
I don't think that the Haaland thing can prompt them, because I think there are 2 very different sets of circumstances. Haaland's 24, Salah's 32, 33. And I think as far as Salah's concerned, everybody knows what he can do, but it's on a huge amount of money that they don't want to have to commit to by the time he's 35. He's 32 at the moment.
Do you remember what I said on the show 2 weeks ago? Give that man whatever he wants. Because
would you still say that? Would it make fiscal sense to give him what he wants and he's on that money?
100%.
Well, there are lots of players
I heard it was a 1+1 perhaps in the offing.
It could be, but the problem is for Liverpool is that they will have looked around the Premier League and saw Aubameyang, they would have seen Ozil, they would have seen so many other players, Alexis Sanchez, Wayne Rooney in his last contract at Manchester United, and they would have said to themselves, do we want to anchor ourselves financially to a player? Listen, he keeps himself in outstanding physical condition. Let's not kid ourselves, and no need to write.
And he's still one of the best in the world, Darren. Like, he's still one of the best in the world. Like,
but he is now.
Yeah.
And they will have data, you know, that they will have data that we are not party to. How will he look in 18 months' time? How will he be in 2 years' time?
Sometimes that's to come a little bit of loyalty, though.
Yeah.
You do have to consider that. I'm not writing the money for the checkbook, you know what I mean? But I just think, like, who can you get right now? Who can Liverpool get in that will do what he does next season and the season after that? He will guarantee you double digits. He'll guarantee you goals. And when he's not playing well, Liverpool look like a different team.
Yeah.
So who would they get instead of him?
Well, everyone said that about Kane. And Spurs now, what, their second highest scorers in the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah, but look where they are in the league. Come on.
That's because they can't defend.
Darren, I think you've lost that argument.
Bye.
Well, look, talking about Salah, Liverpool, of course, they're going to be taking on Brentford, looking to keep their closest title challengers at arm's length, and that includes, of course, the likes of Arsenal, who'll be looking to build on that North London derby win with what is a tough-looking home game against a certain Unai Emery and Villa.
Jota is an important player for us, but he wasn't, like you said, on the training ground yesterday, so that means we have to see today where he is. So it's not sure that he will be available for tomorrow. We have to wait and see today.
What's the issue there?
Yeah, he felt a little bit when he came in, a little niggle, is that the way you say it? Yeah. During the half hour he came in, and he could finish the game, but afterwards he complained a bit about it, and that's why he didn't train yesterday. We have to wait and see if he's available today, and then of course tomorrow.
Obviously, we're looking at the title race and see the gap is 4 points at the moment. And we look at the game against Brentford as an opportunity to put pressure on Arsenal now because they play after you. So how do you see it? Does it come into the thinking now that you can ask the question of Arsenal and then they have to respond?
No, I don't look at it that way. I didn't even know that they were playing later than us. I only look at the opponent we have to face, and I know that's a tough one. Brentford was my first Premier League game, I think. And then I already thought, like, oof, if this is going to be the resistance we get every week, then it's going to be then this is a more difficult league than the Eredivisie, which I knew before I came, but it was proven that day as well. And they've had a very good season till now. Had a 2-2 against City, great game. Both teams creating a lot of chances. And their manager has done a fantastic job for so many years now. You can see that it's a team that has worked together with their manager for a long time. So that's my only focus, and not on when does Arsenal play or when does Chelsea play or when do all the others play. We only focus on ourselves and the team we have to face.
And when the advantage at the top of the table has narrowed the way it has, how does that impact the squad mentally, if at all?
I don't think we are as much as the media thinking about the league table every second of the day. We are trying to get the best out of the players, and with we I mean my staff, and the players trying to get the best out of themselves every single day. And these players know how long the season still is and how many games they have to be in the best possible form to win something in the end of the season, which is not something that happens every single season. So we are not so focused on the league table as other people are. We are focused on getting a good training session today and getting a good game tomorrow. And as a result of that, we are hoping for a result. But the only way to get a result is to work on a daily basis in the best possible way.
Thank you.
Just building on that point about Brentford, it was Virgil that mentioned after the game against Forest that people might jokingly, he said, think we're in a bit of a crisis, but that's just another example of how...
Nothing will tell you tomorrow that he has to rest, eat good food to prepare that Sunday. We need them again. He did a great job. It's a great moment for a young kid to score an hat-trick for a club like this, but he needs to focus on the next match because this is already in the past, and prepare the next game.
Did you think he or your team were capable of doing that when you get to 80 minutes and you win the game?
You always believe. I have to believe, but with the chance that, for example, Antonio misses, then you have that feeling that let's go again. A difficult night with our fans, and everything is so fresh. The 3 losses that we had, but we managed to turn things around, and in the end, we didn't do a good job. A good game. But if you look for all the opportunities, I think we deserve to win. But we have to improve a lot.
Jamie.
Ruben, you said ahead of this game you learn more about your players than the previous 2 games. Well, having seen that, you're not very concerned because they seem panicky, lack of composure, a bit desperate. Is that not a big?
Yeah, it's not. I think it's not panic. In the first half, we were too late to every ball, and we tried to press a little bit high, and we suffer with that. Mateus between the lines, dribbling between the lines, Suleimane with the pace. It's a different game from Liverpool and Arsenal. We have to stretch the team more. We let Lenny all the time 1 against 1, with more spaces to cover, and we suffer more. So I think it's not panic. We need, and I need to understand the game. Why we suffer in these kind of games and not sometimes in the big games where we are more compact, more near the ball when we win the ball. So I pay attention to all the things, and this game was not the lack of effort. They try it, but Ugarte was really tired since the first minute, and you feel it when he ran for the ball and tried to receive the ball, all that stuff. And so I look at the game, try to understand the game, to improve my players and to help the team to be better.
But why is he tired? And I think you said generally your players are tired because they're top professionals. Yeah. Surely he should be able to not be tired.
I don't know. I need to improve the training, sometimes the recovery of the players. I don't know. I have to help them. But after these 2 games were really hard on the team, and sometimes we are tired, not just the body but the mind. But like I said, it's a different game. We have to press more. The space is bigger. We are discomfortable in the game, and then if we don't.
Business once more on the back of that very important equaliser. 1-1. So deflection, and it will be a throw-in. Well, what can they do to stop him running at them? Romeo Lavia. And there it is, the half-time whistle. So the beginning of the second half here at Stamford Bridge. Possession one. Mudryk. Being egged on by the crowd. And a goal to re-establish their advantage. Just look at the celebrations. Palmer.